Good evening. Yes, actually, I've with Samira and Sanjana very long friendship long time back, because I remember when I came to Pritsi Festival with three of my plays, two short plays and one full length. I did a original takeover production of Red Orientals, Dr. Gauravi, which came to, and I remember Samira and Sanjana were visiting Delhi that time, watching plays in the Bharat Mahasa, and I was also playing there. So from there, we curated my play to Bombay. It was my kind of first time coming to Bombay in the plays. That was 2007 or 8, I think so. So then recently, as Samira was mentioning, that I moved to Bombay. Actually, I'm doing some, it's a very new kind of project, which is kind of recording theatre or scenic play at the same, that stage production, which we are trying to kind of, what I would say, record it in a way that it stays with the people. It's like contemporary classics or productions already done, or we're creating plays from contemporary classics. Like recently I'm doing a play with Raghuvi Yadav as the main cast, which is a play called Bhagiya Pancharamki by Junoon Team, one of the major playwrights from Bengal, very senior. So this kind of, so I get to play Mahendra Tana's date 30 days in September. So different kind of plays are going on. So I am in Bombay for that job, and I kind of wanting to shift my city for a long time, because Kolkata was getting a little difficult for many things for me. One, of course, I think that the political divide became very, very, aggressive. So that is a very different story. I will come to that, but today's our subject is kind of shares some reflections of the violence of character and non-violence, which is the heading of this discussion. I would rather, it's not a kind of, not a kind of speech I would give. I will share some moments, my own reflections, that what is this point of director in the contemporary scenario of theatre, performing arts, that how he becomes a demigod, he or she becomes a demigod, a theatre director. So I first came across this word, the violent director, from a book called book by Anne Bogart, a very famous American theatre director, who has done great productions. I remember Anne Bogart when I was a student in New York theatre, 1991. So I went to Bama and Trinity College to do my performance course. I remember there is a play which happened in an old hospital, it's a cancer hospital by Central Park in New York. I remember that it's a huge 3 or 4 story building, and we went to see his performance, all the students. And he used the performance space like entirely all the floors, the ground, the first story balcony, second story balcony, the rooms inside. So it's a kind of pandemonium happening in front of you. It's like amazing performance, but you're continuously looking here and there what to do. So Anne Bogart was also young that time, I remember. Then, of course, after the performance, we had the privilege to speak to the director. We come from theatre school, and she met. So I had this question that I love this production very well. It's a very new experience for me. Very new. I just went from Calcutta. I was very young. So I asked that I don't know where to look at. The whole performance I was, wondering which one to see, what performance to see, because multiple levels of actions are happening. So he had a long, small pause and asked me that, do you ask this question when you're on the street? Do you know where to go, how to cross the road, you know your destination, where to go. So if you don't ask that question in real life, why are you expecting me to answer that question? That why it's your democracy to see, to watch. So the violence of theatre director comes from here, that this is one director is proposing that I will not direct you. I will not make you force you to see something. There are multiple activities happening and you can decide where to watch. And that actually is an eye-opener for me. That one comment by Andover that this is how he's looking at the performance. So it is much closer to the reality, that the theatre reality we're talking about. But that doesn't mean that Andover is always working. Then I saw a play by her called the very famous Bertolt Brecht play called The Jungle of the Cities, which is much more directed in that very precise focus. It's not that Andover is always doing things like that, but I can see the spirit of the director that she's opening up the space. She's giving multiple layers, giving the option to the audience to be part of the performance, to have the democracy, to have the liberty to look. It's not like you manipulate it. So this cinema manipulates. Cinema is the art of manipulation. You actually make people see. As I work in both the mediums, primarily started as, of course, a theatre actor, and I come from a theatre family. My father was a theatre director and actor. So from childhood I was part of theatre movement in Bengal. So, and then I had the privilege to assist Utpal also with production of Midsummer Night's Dream. So I've been watching this tradition. But the issue is that, what I have been discussing with Samira, that this is one democracy which was very new to me in 1991. As a student of theatre, that I came from a theatre world which is very regimented. Regimented means the entire procedure, the work process, the work methodology is very regimented in the way that, like when Shambhu Mitra, the great legendary theatre actor, or Utpal Dutt, or later Adhikesh Banerjee, they are very big names in Bengali theatre. Then the next generation, my father, Suman Mukhopadhyay, or Vibhash Chakraborty, they are creating their own school of theatre, which is very regimented. You don't think that if we go to say Shambhu Mitra theatre, which I've seen very less, because he stopped doing theatre when I just started watching theatre. But I've seen some of them. You can see the reflection of Mr. Mitra and all the other actors. So he is creating another Shambhu Mitra, or the actor who is in his group trying to aspire to be him. And it is and also it's typical of Bengali theatre that all the main directors are the main actors also. The Shambhu Mitra is the actor, is main protagonist of all his plays. Utpal Dutt used to play his actors. Adhikesh also, my father also is Jagannath, he's played the Jagannath. So in Vibhash Chakraborty, Charbhama, so I think that you can see the culture of that. I am creating my own group of people who will actually imbibe, will copy me. When I'm talking about is Pancharam, Bhagya Pancharam Ki, he is doing the main role of Pancharam. And you can see that all these actors are actually copying him. And the directors also want them to copy. I am doing this, you copy, follow. I think this is also another aspect of it. I think so is important that most of the theatre artists in Bengal, they come untrained. They come from very different, they actually come to the theatre out of some kind of commitment to the society that I think that's my political agenda, to be in the theatre and do something, social message. So I think that it's a part of training process also, where directors are actually molding the actors according to their own style of acting. This is like creating another kind of violence in this space. I am talking about this violence. I am talking about the violence is that when, like what the director of, I think that you are pushing somebody to copy you. Your instinct, your physicality, your reflections, your reflex. You cannot ask anybody to copy your reflex. You have to give that person that liberty, that physicality, that methodology that he can actually build upon his own reflex, own understanding of his own body, own physiognomy, own anatomy. But if you are kind of forcing them to bring that model, that I want to copy, then that actually imposing you. But the modern theatre is actually when you into 91 with all the regimented training, that every small movement has been dictated, that turn this, behave like this, copy me. The director will get up, show you how to do it, you go and copy. No, it's not happening. I am showing you what to do. So actually this is one process of doing theatre. So Bengali Mukhopadhyay, if you see that he is theatre, such a great master of theatre, but he couldn't create independent actors because I think that most of them are copying him. So when he is dead, he is not directing anymore, so they don't know, they are helpless because they have forgot to create their own. But from this point, when I go to US, Sunday work with directors, great directors like Ruth Malache or working with Angover, they immediately gives you very different feelings. They immediately say that when the point of different kind of artistic forms, practicing on that you are talking about, that your independent reflex depend on that, create that, develop that, find that, go deep inside you, bring yourself out. That's kind of one kind of another side of the method school also, method acting school. So I think, but finally, what I'm is saying that when Robert Wilson comes, everybody is waiting, then he's looking at a chair, then he waits for 5 minutes, looking at the chair, he said, move only 2 inches to the left. Somebody goes and does that. Then this 2 inches movement is like he will be doing this, that this is 2 inch. Or you will tell an actor, stop, that's it, no more improvisation. I want it to stop here. Even because your actors there are different kind of actors, I will talk about that also, but there are actors who are always thinking new things. It's really like that. Can I do it like that? Can I do it like that? At one point, you have to say, no. What you have done last time, that's it. No more improvisation. So I think that's another kind of violence you impose on an actor. But you have to see that. And another thing is that after this authorship came, the directors became the main person. Before that, it was actors who are dictating the show. Right? So you may go to the motion master. There's a thing called motion master. That actually you tell him go to the front of the stage and say your lines. Right? So just say your lines. Don't think about any choreography. Now after that, this new thing came, the scenography came. Then directors like Peter Brook and other, Robert Wilson, Peter Brook is our previous generation, they started seeing theatre from a very different concept. They started seeing theatre from even the modern contemporary Indian directors also. We see that directors acting now, slowly they have stopped. Most of directors don't act. You see the contemporary directors, if you see modern Indian stage, they don't act. But if you just go one generation back, they're mainly the chief actors, the directors and actors. So I think that concept is coming that I am a director, I will run the show, I will conduct the show, the conductor. So art, before that we used to say that this is sets by such and such, but now it's scenography. As like camera is replaced by cinematography. Used the camera by this and this much. Now you use cinematography. So camera is a much more reductionist word in that way. What the cinematographer does to a film is much bigger than just a camera work. So now even the sets is not sets, it's like scenography. Scenography is much more important. It's a huge expanse of things. It's a part of your performance. It's part of your performance. Scenography is not like somebody creating a set. So I think that these modern concepts come, but at the same time, the dependence on director was also there, but because director has to answer all the questions. What is this? What is that? What is this? Now I'll tell you one story. There's a Leonardo DiCaprio, a very important director from New York, experimental theatre. he was our main teacher in New York. So 91 I came back, seeing the work of Pina Bausch, Robert Wilson, Langford, and great things, then I came back to Kolkata and thought that let's invite the American director to do a play in Kolkata. So I invited the Sapiro through the American embassy and that, and he came to direct Samuel Beckett's End Game, one of the most difficult plays. And both the actors, my father, Divar Chakraborty, Suman Mukhopadhyay, and all the top theatre actors. So we got them together. Now the very first the conflict began. Firstly, Beckett is very difficult. Now, they are asking, what does this line means? And the director will simply say, I don't know. Let's find it out together. This answer to the director immediately freaked them out. Because they came out in the break and say that the director is not prepared at all. You don't know the answers. Then I said, why don't you see from different perspective that maybe he don't want to give an answer. Like, don't want to give a ready-made answer which he has. So I think that he is forcing you to not be an idle actor. Try to also be part of his creative together. But I know that you was reading Beckett's autobiography that time. He was reading other plays that time because that's a part of his preparation. But that became a big thing in the rehearsal process. Every day they fought because he thinks that the cast thought that the director is not able to do the play because he's not answering our questions. Because in our tradition of theatre, the moment actor asks a question, you have to give an answer. Otherwise, you're not the director. You have to know everything. So that people expect from you that you should know everything. And you have to give a ready-made answer to everything. So now that is the point of also contradiction here, that why the director has to answer everything. And that became as a bad fight. Throughout the rehearsals, it's a nightmare for me. I had a nervous breakdown. I was the assistant director, and because they're all senior actors, and my father was also part of the cast, and every day they're fighting, they can't talk to him, and they're all on me, Your teacher from New York, you brought a wrong person here to do. Finally, we did only one performance of that show. We didn't do any more because they refused to act anymore. Because anyway, it was very difficult play. It was talking and taking plays are always difficult. So I think that this is the point of question that in modern theatre methodology, where we are trained that how to actually bring this multidisciplinary work into our work. And then there are different kind of actors, different kind of directors. Like there is a great director called Andrei Lubimov. He's from Russia. He runs a theatre called Taganka Theatre. I had a privilege to work with him when he's 8 years old in a workshop in Italy where he was working with a group of students, theatre, not only students, also theatre practitioners. I was a practitioner that time and went there, and he's working Dostoevsky's novel called Devils. So now Lubimov is very famous for one thing. For each and every performance of his plays, I went to see his Marasat, the Peter Weiss. He will sit in the front row with 3 flashlights, 3 torches, one white, one green and one red. You can't imagine, I've seen him doing that. The performers have this habit to watch the director with 3 lights. The moment the play is running in the right rhythm, he will flash his white light. Right, it's okay. The moment it's going like very fast, we'll press the red light. Slow down. And if it's going very slow, we'll press the green light. Come on, straight up. So, and he's one of the most celebrated directors of the world. He's not, everybody knows Lubimov, but see his violence on the actors. Like every day one has to follow him. But the problem is that because the director is vulnerable, when the actors go on stage, there's nothing to do. If the actor says his line differently to wrong pauses, do something else, he cannot walk on the stage and sing. ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता, rest of नहीं बोल सकता. But you know that actors take the liberty also. एक बार आने the stage, कुछ नहीं. Maybe after the show you will be rebuked badly. Why did you mess up with the line? Why did you put that pause? But Dubimo has solved the problem. So he said put the three tortoises in the front seat. So I think that, but this is one thing that, but there are directors who give this liberty to the actors. Like Peter Brook. He has his famous technique, everybody knows about that. One technique is, the day before the performance, the first show, everybody is prepared. Damn, know everything like rehearse for 4 or 5 months. He will call the actors and he will delete lines. And this part is edited, this part is deleted, this scene I'm transposing, this scene with that. So everybody will repeat, what is happening? We are all done, prepared, we are so confident to go on stage tomorrow. Now we are making these changes, last day before the performance. So he will do that. He thinks that overconfidence kills creativity. And he was so confident that he will make an answer. The moment that uncertainty comes in your life, that there are things that are making you uncertain, immediately the creativity, the animal inside you start keeping the antennas open. Because he cannot lack on the concentration. Because there are sudden cuts. So your cue was like this, get that. So this is his technique, is very known. So everybody is damn angry with this process, but Peter Brook will always do it. But it also depends on the kind of company you have. Like the kind of company we work with in Indian theatre. We work with mostly amateur actors. So if you experiment with sometimes with them with this kind of exercise, they might totally make the performance the next day. They can forget lines, they can do anything. So it also depends on kind of company you're working with, kind of actors, quality of actors you're working with. And now looking of telling this story about actors. This 801, look, all the countries have different kind of actors. Like suppose American actors. They are always thinking about the security, that if you pass them, the time is ladder. Okay, you have the fire brigade permission, you have this, what is the carpet made of, so the American actors are like this, they are always thinking. And these British actors, they love to discuss plays. So the moment they said I went to Britain, I see they were discussing plays, I tell you discuss, when I ended discussion, call me or director. So you discuss yourselves. And Russian actors. And his own country. Well, suppose you say to ask a Russian actor, look, you come from this side, from the door, sit in this chair, and go to the window and look outside. So he will do it. Then he start, I have a question, why can't we come in from this side? Then he said, Mr. Actor, the door is on that side, you cannot come in from this side. So he said this unnecessary questioning, why can't they come from this side, So there are actors of unnecessary questioning. So there are workshops. I went to film school in New York also, where there are actors workshop, how to handle directors. And then directors workshop, how to handle actors. Because actors think these directors are all fascist idiots who don't know how to negotiate that, because they will undermine you all the time. You are an actor. The directors, these idiot actors, they will come and always ask you stupid question, how to negotiate those questions. So can you imagine this is happening? Like this is the American film school, and there are separate camps, actors and directors. There's always taught how to. Actually, it is a thing that most of the directors handle actors in a different way. And the experience of there are a book by Sidney Lumet wrote a book called Making Movies. But it's amazing that I'm talking about violence and non-violence in a very different way. That look, there are situations like Sidney Lumet was defining one situation that when he was directing Marlon Brando, that artist of that stature, that in one film that he said that there is one dialogue, every time Brando is coming and he is fumbling. Same sentence, same word. So one take, two take, three take, after 10th take, I told Brando that forget it, we'll do this shot tomorrow. Then I will do it today. So Sigrid said, I'm wondering, should I ask him this question? That what is actually bothering me? There is he knows about some personal situation which is actually affecting him. And these actors are so damn instinctive that even a small personal situation can affect their mind. So he was wondering, should I ask this question to Brando or let it happen? So after 25th take, Brando himself said, no, I can't do it. So he said, okay, let's go for a drink. So he took Brando for a drink and he asked that, look, throughout the shooting, this 25 shots, I was asking myself, should I ask him this question? That this is a personal problem which is coming. Then tell me, Pandra, did I do the right thing to not ask him that question? Like, of course, I did the right thing. Because I know that I'm being vulnerable that time. If somebody know that this is the point which is troubling me, then I am more vulnerable. So it's good that you ask him. Now, these are the things he said, this is happens with Manman. And there are other situations also about actors. Because I think finally in theatre or in cinema, dealing with actors in two different mediums. And there is where you negotiate with your form of violence and how actually you are working with that material. Because there's only one person in theatre or in cinema, actor who actually opens up their soul. Everybody else is hidden behind a camera or behind the stage. But actor has to actually vulnerably open up their heart. Or they have to meddle with those very subtle emotions of life, of happiness or even sadness or even depression. That we're working, because actually that is the training of an actor, how to actually go deep inside them and bring those hidden grey areas and open them up and put some flame under them so they can open up or tickle those areas of emotional depth. So I think that area, this is where the directors manipulate very much, and today's contemporary directors are trained to do that in different way. And once upon a time, as I said, one tradition is follow. Just follow me, but there are some actors who manage to get out of that following Mitra or all that to make their own way of acting style. They make it. They come across as good actors. But there are actors who remain as copies, and they will remain as copies throughout their life. But when you go to the contemporary scenario of acting, you are actually these new methods of acting which is coming up, like multidisciplinary way to deal with your own material. That is very important. That's giving that new space that you actually, like when I was a student, acting student, that director telling me that your English has a certain kind of pattern because it's not your mother language. So how to break that? You just bring your shoes, tie your lace and speak the lines. The moment you are tying your lace and speak the lines, you're concentrating on tying it more than your remaining lines. So immediately that structure breaks. So I think that these are the small kind of things, and the multidisciplinary way of seeing things. Like today we think multidisciplinary means putting dance, cinema, screen together. That is not multidisciplinary, I think so. Which I have thought of multidisciplinary is a way of approaching material. That is multidisciplinary. Like it's not that I put dance and theatre together, or put film or theatre together, or put a mime artist and dancer and a theatre actor and musician together. That will be multidisciplinary. That is one way. From outside is multidisciplinary. But there can be theatre which is no musicians, no mime artists, no dancers together coming. But multidisciplinary is a process. So when you actually work with this multidisciplinary, like maybe you ask an actor that what is this play or this your character is reminding of a painting, or can you remind me of this emotion from a poem, or can you remember music which which is actually reminding of this piece which you are reading, maybe one piece of dialogue. So immediately he thinks, maybe one song, maybe a Hindi movie song or a classical music is reminding of that piece. So immediately he connects to that. So that brings out his certain emotion. So that is one thing, is one way of seeing things. Or maybe when I ask my actors that interact with the painting, what is the color of your speech? So immediately you talk about painting. What is the color of your painting? So in this situation, recently I did a play, which I think this blog is the create as a content. I did a play, not a play, it's a performance piece, I would say. It is with the paintings and installation art and sculptures in an exhibition in Seema Art Gallery in Kolkata. It's an old house, Ramdulari House, which is kind of holding an exhibition of contemporary painting. Painting on the wall, painting on the floor, sculptures, installations, and so it is given. The curator told me, create a performance out of this. Do whatever you want. So that I got the scope. This kind of scope doesn't come very. So I got actors, musicians, dancers together. And I told them, I don't wish the creator to work with. Just respond to the paintings. Respond to whatever. Maybe you are standing in front of the painting, some sur is provoking that painting. Maybe it can be something. So he started playing a song, standing in front of the painting. Or installation art provoking something. So from that response, I took my artist everything, send him go ahead and give me feedback. So they came and gave me feedback. I got this poem. I got this play, small portion of Hamlet after seeing this. I got this, I got that. So I brought them together, I woven them into a script together. Now that became a thing. Like this kind of work process is very liberal in that. And you are actually not forcing them to do something or making them look, this is script, given script, and you work on this. So my work process is mostly like that. Maybe from that point of my training in New York, I got this thing that I leave it most on my creative artists. Like let them bring out. Look, I have the dictatorial power, of course, as a director. I can say yes or no. Finally. I can actually bring my violence on that. Like, okay, that's it. But to come to that point, I really give them a lot of chance to bring that out. But rarely nowadays, it's very difficult to work with the ensemble team unless you're in a repertory situation. To get an ensemble working for 6 months, 5 months, to develop something. So now sometimes, the situation forces you to, exercise the violence more. You have a design, you have your style thing, then you have to make the play for 4 weeks or 3 weeks. And we cannot get the cast more than that. We don't have the budget. Now, when I did King Lear with Shomita Chatterjee, I had 4 or 5 months to rehearse on stage with a permanent company who are dedicated to 10 to 6 acting program. So that is something else. But actually now, the problem is that to today's world, the creativity has come to that situation, is so time-oriented. Like when I did a play called Tista and Brittanto, when the story of the bank of River Tista, which had a 50 people cast. I rehearsed for 6 months. That is 2000. That was possible then. But within last 4 or 5 years, you cannot imagine of that kind of performance now. Like I rehearsed with them like day after day, doing workshops, creating scenes. I wrote that play myself, but that is not very loose structured play. Sometimes I know the middle of the scene. I don't know the beginning and end of the scene. So I started from middle. And I told my actors, I know the middle of the scene. Now you create the beginning, you create the end. So they went back also. This kind of exercise made the thing very lively thing. And then the first thing which I did with this ensemble, I saw this that they have too much, urban energy grafted in their body. Because we sit on chairs, we eat in table and chairs. We have certain, physical aspects going on in our daily lives. which affect our spine, which affects our reflexes. Right? Now how to break them? So I thought, let's take the entire team to a village of Chow dance. I took all the players, let's go for 7 days to 10 days. 7 days, 10 days. We took the entire team to a small village in Purulia. They are only allowed to stay in that village. We decided to talk to villages. Give me one corner of the room, so all the actors and actresses, they stayed in different houses and villages. Every day morning we'll come together and learn Chow. And this is the magical effect. Immediately they start breaking out of that urban physiognomy and mental scheme. And when I came back with this team after 10 days of war, it is a new energy. You can see that they've got that. It's all depends on giving them that route, how to break away. So, and what is the thing that we understand? The Chow community is amazing. Like they know what are the mythological stories, like Ekalapa story or Abhimanyu story they are doing. Now they are sitting in the middle of the village. The entire village is watching. They are going to organs to watching the rehearsals, and they will comment also. No, this is not happening. And the director will say, I know, give me some time. And they will walk away. Yeah. So I think that this spirit, that entire community is participating in the creating of this thing. Then someone will come and say that, and he is a bad actor, so don't put him in the main role. Then this actor will protest, no, give me some time. No, I'm still preparing myself, come after 2 days. I know this movement is wrong. So then we comment with each other. Some people sit throughout the evening and watch the performance happening. So this community culture, very new for the urban people who are going, even it's new for me also. So I was watching and sitting this and saying, look, this is how they create their plays. Now we are doing in a play in a very hidden situation. This is our energy, this is our place. Nobody must come and see, it will disturb our concentration. So they're totally different culture. So but somehow to bring these two together, this workshop really helped. Again when we came back to Calcutta, we worked in a close situation. We are not doing a race on the street people will comment on our piece. But somehow we got that democratic aspect of performance within our experience. That makes a lot of difference. So I think that today's problem is that when we are looking for a small cast play, for logistical reasons only, how to budget performances, when you big cast. Like I did a play in Kolkata, Mephisto, which I did a long time back, again revived. I cannot do performances because 35 people. And every date we fix, some actors are busy, some other days. So we cannot do it. So immediately think the next time I will not do 35 cast. And we my 5-member cast. So I think these are the people, I think that we are slowly, putting ourselves in a box of, what I'm saying, that it's not a creative space. It's more a utility space. Theatre karna hai because we get some grant. It is our habit of doing theatre. But actually, the problem that we are not getting into this creative space to do it more, explore ourselves, creative energy more, to get. So I think that is another aspect of today's practitioners of theatre, that we are getting into this very insular way of methodology. I don't know how to break out of this. We have to find more and more spaces, more and more new actors, more and more communities to bring people to theatre and do a different kind of theatre practice. So that is, I think, this should be the future of theatre. The new energy, creative theatre can be brought out. Otherwise, you will see that theatre is getting either very exotic or very elitist, or very mechanical. So that's very difficult because I think that national policies, cultural policies are not also helping to create new kind of theatrical experiments. That's one thing. So theatre directors are moving into cinema mostly because they are also not getting that. Like I will explain some. I did a play with NSD Repertory Company earlier this year in January. can you believe that the National Theatre repertory, they are so backdated in terms of, the school must be different. The school is working with new takes, but repertory company is I think that they have the governmental agencies, whatever, seniority basis. The main technical advisor, the person who came from, as a junior technician, then now is as government promotions. So now is the promotional head. So he doesn't know anything technical, new technical thing. I just wanted some video to play in certain, order. You don't know how to do that. So I think that this is, if you work in a government organization and theatre cannot, the government rules the theatre nature. It cannot, because seniority, the moment this man is not updated to modern technology, you remove that man. But government, as well as the government agency, they cannot remove him. They have no policies to bring this man to other. He can go to a revenue department and do his job, but he cannot remain in theatre. So I think that this should, National School of Drama should address these problems very strongly. If they can't address it, who will address it? Because they have the budget, they have the money, there are crores of money every year given to them to do these things. Now, if they cannot update it, then what to think about other agencies who are really struggling to continue in theatre. They don't have a repertory company, they don't have 35,000 salary to the actors. Like Minerva Repertory Company, when I was working with them in 2011, 10,000 rupees per actor, per month. There are 12 people, permanent actors. 10,000 rupees, how can an actor survive? Government grant is 6,000 rupees per actor. How can one survive? So I think these are the things which are very difficult, but this is the very black area which we cannot, take our reality as a reality actually. So I think that this is the problem of theatre, but still, theatre is the only thing which is very alive, still not sold away to the big houses or industrial business people. Still, people can come together in the theatre company and say whatever. And that is the freedom of speech we exercise from theatre. There is no censor board. We are sitting and approving the theatre. So you can speak from theatre very strongly. We can immediately generate some energy, and that is a positive way. That still we have lot of theatre activities are happening, but the methodology is getting a little bit difficult. I think that we have to create new performance energy, and that can only happen if you have the space to create the energy. Otherwise, we will be again getting the insular modes of performance. This is very difficult. So I think that this is how I wanted to. I have not made any kind of scribbled note that how we speak. So I just spoke out of my own instinct, and I think that if now everybody can start asking me questions, then we can have some dialogue.
Any questions?
No, I think after theatre is a very difficult role. We have got select audience. Because it is not a question of getting the space, trying your ideas and asking actors to evolve their acting, things like that. Because there are two main problems. One is the cost of producing theatre is pretty high. And the other is to get the audience to meet that expenditure. Now when you do these things, then all right, you try your own things. You have to bear in mind that you have to bring the audience in. Because the audience must understand what your actors are doing. If they don't, then they will not come to your theatre. However progressive you may think that your actors are doing and you are recording. And on the other hand, the cost is very high because and your audience becomes limited because in a cinema, as you spoke, that rural or urban attitudes and things like that. Now cinema moves all over the place. But theatre, you cannot take your stage too easily from place to place. They are really restricted. So you have got the cost, you have got the audience, and you have also got the problem of your actors, which is very true. And the directors also problems by themselves in many cases. Now to make it resolve all these things, to combine all these things, is a difficult proposition. Now, and there must be a way out. And as you say, that the whole thing starts with the finance. And unless the government or somehow is agreeable to finance it, then if it fails, don't mind, carry on, because the light is at the end of the tunnel. Now, how do we solve these things? How do we get the money? Unless the government moves in, or the corporate houses move in. Now, if the corporate houses move in, they will put their own things, saying that you must put in this, not that, this and that. Now, how do people help? How do people think about this?
I think that's the question I am also pondering on. But the first thing which you said, what I am saying about the methodology, that doesn't, I am saying that when you are creating a piece, theatrical performance piece, I think that I am talking about the methodology, how you give your actor the liberty to create of your own. Then actually you are binding together to your performance, which you are thinking, keeping in mind, the audience will come, they have to understand. Like, I will tell you a situation also, some experience of, this is also a very famous book called Shifting Point, by Peter Brook, where he is saying that when he did King Lear, he was traveling with the play. So they first went to Romania to do the play, perform the play. And he said that people are responding to the play like this is the play of their country. Like this is like something which they can relate to. And it's like pin drop silence, they're kind of going through this experience of seeing this performance. Then this play traveled to New York. Then he said that immediately it became a kind of a social fact that we are going to see Peter Brook play. So we went dressed up, I'm going to see Peter Brook, and he said that I saw the play done. Because nobody has came to watch the play. They want to be participant that I have, look, this is my social status that I have Peter Brook play. So I think that the Lear didn't communicate to that audience. It is just a social kind of style and comment they are making. So, but in Eastern Europe, it made that comment, it got the connection. So it depends. So I think that you cannot create something which is available to one can connect to everybody. So I think what we create, I am just trying to that ours sometimes school of Gurukul type of thing. Sometimes they create great artists, but that's classical genre of artists. But when you come to theatre, modern theatre, that giving the space for the actors to develop their own skill, develop their own instinct, but bring them together in one, that's why director is so important. To bring these men together, to guide them in the right way, and then create a piece which can communicate to the audience. Because I think that for me, the tradition I am brought in, I think I have performed in all the corners of West Bengal, in all the corners. From 80s onwards, every corner of West Bengal, in this makeshift stages, in this small auditorium, there and there, because we used to travel and perform. So it's a confrontation with the audience. Every kind of audience is very important for an actor, theatre artist to grow, because actually you are communicating with the audience right across. And every political situation, every changes in the society are reflected. You can reflect it from the stage. You can immediately get that this is happening. Like, I will tell you one thing. There is one very famous song in Mari's Sangat which Samira was mentioning. My father's 1973 produced play. 1973 is still running. Mari's Sangat. Story of Marich, the famous Ramayana character Marich. This song called Meri Baba. Meri Baba is about the American way of foreign policy. It's a very funny song. And you skip the different kind of tones coming in and talking about contemporary policy, but Meri Baba is singing with a hat, with a coat, and he sings for 10 minutes. I started performing that, from 90s onwards. I saw this performance in 1973, I remember, that people are laughing, responding, clapping. It's a very funny song. But after 90s, the entire political movement environment has changed all over the world. Even in West Bengal, the communists are ruling, the people, the response has changed. They're not enjoying that thing anymore. That American role, which communist that time, leftist has, there's a rule that when you cross over with the American embassy, you throw a stone at the wall. It was the culture that time in Kolkata, because they create anti-war or Vietnam thing, that one. But that slowly the climate changed. So I've seen the villages, people used to respond to this song, and slowly that response changed. Even once that people are changed from the response of the people from a song or from a play. And the play that ran from 1973 till 2014, it's seen all the kind of time changes, and you can see that how audience reaction changing. So I think that is, and I don't know actually how to resolve this thing, because government policy is of course very important. Like the Germany, which we know as the utopia of theatre. Like Germany has so many national theatres, and they are highly paid theatres, and that is born around tax of money. 2% of taxes from people, as Swachh Bharat ke liye they are putting on taxes, right, on restaurant bills and everything. So they taxes for theatre ke liye tax they. The entire Germany pays for that theatre. So I think that's been on policy. But now they are cutting the Ministry of Culture budget. If you see, they have cut it like amazing, 50% of a cut. So now the situation is worse. Because still there is a Ministry of Culture grant which was there. Now they have 50% cut. We are all writing letters, signing papers. Who will listen? I don't know. Somebody has to listen and say that culture needs their money. So that's not very difficult.
So you mentioned about taking your entire group to a village and staying there for some time, and how people used to come and comment on the rehearsals and all. So did you really like that, like the kind of interruption that you had during your practice sessions and all that?
No, I was like that at all. I would not allow people to comment on my piece like that. But that is what I'm saying. That is that their methodology has been derived like that. That's a soil methodology. You cannot copy it. It's not possible. Because they are born and brought up like that. Because they are the fathers teaching the son how to dance. And then there is a community rehearsal which is happening years and years after years. That is within their practice. But we are not born and brought up like this. Even the actors will not like that.
So what is so good about that you wanted to incorporate or give the experience to your troupe about that?
That
what
is
so good about
one is that the breaking away of the urban physicality. Immediately go to a, rehearsal on the sand. Like they are every morning going by the river, the sand course, and they are every day rehearsing there. So immediately, from the cement to go to sand, your entire physicality responds in a very different way. Then you are in a much more liberal, atmosphere.
You wouldn't suggest a continuous practice, but sometimes to break the rhythm.
Break the thing. No, that's what I'm saying, that I never used one chow movement in my play. Never. It is not a chow workshop. It's just to break that, physical, what is they say, cage. You are in a cage. What is the cage? Because every day living in this urban context, your physicality is getting modern. So you need to find ways to break that for yourself also. Like when we go to mountains and just sit and stare at the mountains, so you are getting a fresh energy for once, something like that. So you need a break. Sometimes you need to break that and come back. So that's what I'm saying. That's giving creative space to your body.
Was this break specific to that play?
Oh, this
Choice.
one? No, Tistapar, I don't have a show movement. I just wanted to bring that physicality to
No,
them.
that's what I'm asking. Is it because of the Sista part that you wanted to break the urban physicality?
Right.
Would you have done it for any play or was it a choice?
No, it is only for Tistapar because the play is about a space, which is Tistapar, which is absolutely North Bengal. The entire zone has been, we use that as a locale with this play. So in North Bengal, every 2 kilometers the landscape is changing. Once you walk on stone, and then in the water, then you're crossing a bridge, then you walk on sand, then you walk on muddy fields. So people are going through so many experiences of walking, traveling through different textures. So to give that experience to the actor, how to actually bring that experience in a body.
Because when I watched Tista Pare, one of the things that amazed me is you managed to capture two things, and this actually explains it. One, you managed to capture the sense of expanse, which often if you're an urban actor, the expanse of the unlimited expanse, to communicate that from a stage to the bodies of actors is actually pretty amazing. And the other thing that you managed to communicate was a very different sense of time. And I was actually wondering how you managed to do that, because there's the way you experience time in Bombay, then there is never any time. And then the way you go, it's true, right? There's never enough time. And then you go to some other place and suddenly 5 minutes is a lot of time.
Correct.
And in this
Correct.
moment that happens. I don't know how to...
No, actually, that was about time and space. I used a time and space, stretching, and it was also kind of keeping it more tight. So that I think that I have to, because the novel is like a huge novel, and it is talking about the entire region, so many communities, so many groups of people, so many linguistic patterns, so many classes coming apart. So to bring the thing all together on stage and communicate that was a very difficult task. So I had to go through that long process of rehearsal also, for 6 months actually, and taking them to show, then bringing language teachers, talking to them, me traveling and staying there for a few weeks, traveling through by the river. So all these things, this is an experience. I think that this is what I think that which gave me that expanse. It has to be in a creative process also. It cannot come as an automatic thing. No? So it has to somehow you have to bring that into your practice. So when I begin my dialogue today with Anne Bogart's thing, that when you on the street, do you ask this question? You ask this question that what to see, what to hear. Because actually if we listen to every sound which is happening around us, then we are dead people. So we filter sounds. We hear what we actually need to hear. Or we see which we want to see. Actually if you see that 3/4 of our vision is out. We see only this much of the world. Basically the unknown, mostly the unknown area. So we are always perceiving spaces, perceiving sounds. That's very important for human nature. That we are living in perceptions mostly. Our addas, how do we live in this world? That's very important.
So, I have one more question. If, as a director, because you started off with the violence of the director, and you talked about how the violence you talked about is the director saying, copy me. And then the second violence you talked about was the director having the right to tell the actor that this is it and no further. It's still in your control. But I want to ask you about your violence. Because what you are constantly talking about, at least the few stories you shared, is your desire to constantly search for a new language and new methodology. You're saying you're working with amateur actors who, I'm presuming, have very little access to those thoughts. They're not necessarily, so they're used to performing in a certain way. So now please tell me how you work as a director.
No, look, I'm telling you, this is also violence I exercise. I have to tell an actor, just do it. Like I had a fight, coming to Bombay with an actor, and he left because it's a very nice, I want to share this because, well, I have a way of doing theatre in Kolkata, because I always work with my actors, my own actors, who know me, who know my moods, who know how I say, how I direct. So, but the moment you started directing in Bombay, you knew set of actors who were habituated to some kind of expression, some kind of treatment. So I think that I am sometimes being too imposing my ideas on them. And then he said that I am feeling very claustrophobic. Look, I am talking about that I am giving liberty to the actor, but this actor thought I am being pushing him to claustrophobia. Then I said that don't work with me then. But the other actor, then I asked the other actors, Raghuveer is there. Raghuveer Yadav is also doing a role. So I asked him that, do you think that I am being too imposing him? No, I am fine. So, but it all depends on the perception also. Like, sometimes when you have an ensemble who works with you, it is much more easier because they know your work process, they know how you communicate, know how you behave. Sometimes they intend not to be rude, but maybe by analysis. So I don't want politically correct in a creative space. It's very difficult to be politically correct in a creative space. Every time, sir, madam, okay, please, thank you. It doesn't work with me. Sometimes it sounds rude. Corona to bolta hai, do it. The moment this violence is there, one actor must say, whatever saying, do it. You can say that, give me a little more respect. Maybe this can happen. So sometimes, very difficult, like in working in America, it's very difficult. I directed in America in 3 or 4 plays. It is like, tremendously, anybody can be you are very rude, you are like that. And if you start working with Ratan Thyam, he is like military. He was just military, isn't it? But everybody sits like he is the king. Like the Japanese director, Tadashi Suzuki. He throws things as actors like this. He sits with things. He has props. And all the actors always ready, and they are the most impressive actors. Anytime the thing can come and they will die. And Tadashi Suzuki is the most celebrated directors in the world, but American actor going there completely terrorized. And Anne Bogart actually brought him to America. And that poor man was feeling absolutely, he's saying, how can you work here? Because he is habituated, if you throw an American actor like that, he will go and sue you. So, it all depends on the culture. It all depends in our culture, we never, in our student, class situation, we always sit like teacher come and we stand up, and in American art school you go, everybody is putting up their legs, talking to directors like that, So first time when I was there, director ka samne aise baithe hai, Papa asking question, I have a question to ask. What? Then I was sitting like a real student, Then slowly I imbibe the American way of, otherwise I am looking like the alien man sitting and no what to do. So I think that it all depends on culture. But Japanese directors are very militaristic in that way. Very. And American directors, they are so polite. But I see the politeness is absolutely being politically correct. They will stand up, thank you, sorry, I have to interrupt you. Every time you stop an actor, sorry, I have to interrupt you, don't mind, please, you do it like this. But in Indian style, do it like this. No. So I think it all depends. The actors also know in India that this is how directors work. But so when I went to America, I used to every time control myself that So Bombay also I felt that when I did that, I want to one actor that said I will not work with you. So my theatre rehearsal got stalled one more week to get another actor. I got another actor anyway. But still, I was careful about it. Theatre company. That you have a company, announce that you collected some actors from here and there and then creating a play, like which we are doing for this scene. So it is not that they don't know my directorial style, So it all depends. A lot of misunderstanding can happen. That is one thing. But I've seen that in Russia it's a different culture. It's a famous story. Again, I'm talking about the book written on light designers. Where Peter Brook wrote a fantastic introduction. He said that British director, a British team, technical team, National Theatre, Royal Shakespeare Company, some other Haymarket theatre, they went to Russia to teach them how to create a backstage, then how to call a show, how to create the cues for music and lights. So they went this team. They were given the group of Russian companies to work with. So they went, and Peter Brook said the first day we are sitting there. So we are asking that where is the cue sheet? Where is the cue sheet? So the people don't have any cue sheets. What do we need to have any cue sheet? How to then run the music or light? No, we don't have like that kind of who's light designer, who's light operator, and who. Because to give an introduction to it, because in US and Britain, the stage managers call the show. The operators don't know anything. The moment the stage manager says, Q8 go, they'll push the button. The thing will go. Q8 out, they'll push the button, this will out. Music Q9 go, tuck, music will come. So everything is like that. The operators only are switchers. And the stage manager is calling the show. So all cued, that is the style. But in India or in Russia that time, he said that we went there, he said that we don't have any cue sheets. Our light operators, our music operators all sit through the rehearsals. Then Peter Brook said that we went to teach them and we got taught that is the actual way to do things. Because the music operators, the light operators, they sit in the rehearsals, they get involved in the play, they know the emotional content to fade in and fade out, light design and everything. So I came back to Britain and said, we are wrong. We came and we learned the right thing to do it. So now you tell your operators to make the rehearsals and do the right operations. So that is how, I think that is the difference of culture. That this is, even our theatre condition, because I end up with telling one story which I heard from my father. He's a famous theatre director called Junoon Team. Very famous playwright and director from Bengal. So he was doing a play with Utpal Dutt, the director, called Titash Ekti Nodin Naam. Titash is a very famous film by Ritik Ghatak also. The same novel, with a play. The first show, the last scene was not right. So everybody told him that change the last scene is not giving the emotional impact. So Junoon Bhattacharya was the songwriter and nice singer. Utpal Dutt told that Junoon, you write a song, tune it, you will end the play with the song. At the end scene, the man is sitting with his dead child and singing the song. So they decided, they rehearsed. But Junoon Bhattacharya is telling director that, look, I just composed it overnight, I can't remember the entire song. Then Utpal Dutt, let's do one thing. He's wearing a gamcha, right? So इसमें लिख लो, Charlie Chaplin thing like that one. So he wrote the song there. And the last scene came and his performance started and he's singing the song and this gamcha ऐसे like this. He's looking at the thing and doing it. And the light designer was Taposh Sen, the famous legendary Taposh Sen, who is slowly dimming up the light. And then this Junoon Bhattacharya is saying, he's a very bad-mouthed man. He told somebody that tell Taposh not to fade the lights. Then he crawled out and tell Taposh said, Junoon is saying not to fade out the lights. No, why should he sacrifice my light design? So finally, lights are off and he's la 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 la. So this is another kind of, so I'm saying. So now the hair director is totally helpless. I love that thing. Why should my sacrifice my lighting? He didn't remember the song, that is his problem. So I think that's it
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the beginning you said that a director imposes his thought and his creative expression on the actor, tells him what to do, how not to do it, etc., etc. And you said that was a form of violence, right? But then you also said that there's not much a director can do once the actor gets on stage. Like the actor can give his own impression, his own interpretation, his expression. So what is that? Is that a violence towards the director?
Yeah, that is my non-violence as a director.
No, but is that violence on the part of the actor? So is the actor being passive aggressive?
Yeah, I think that if there is one director has solved this problem, he used to sit on the stage, and on the stage itself. His name is Thaddeus Cantor. He's not much known. He's as great genius. It's great genius. But because Grotowski was much more popular, people don't know Cantor. Cantor has a style, he will sit in the corner of the stage. And the moment the scene goes wrong, he'll stop it. In front of the audience. No, we have to redo it. And that becomes a style of actual performance. People know that he will interrupt and do the scene again. So I think that this is one way. So Canberra solved this, but actually, no, I think that it is like, that is the strength of theatre at one point to me, that it is like football match, that you have a coach, you make other plans and that, choreographic pattern and that, finally the actors go and create emotions. Sometimes a laughter for 2 seconds more can change the acting style. Suppose every day audience laughs in certain dialogue. One day they didn't laugh. There is no response. Immediately a concentration goes out. What happened? Something wrong. So he is trying hard. Maybe he got insecure. That why they didn't laugh. Or there is one clap every day in some certain scene. That they didn't clap. Immediately the actor became insecure. What happens? So immediately started changing his acting style. So it depends. That's the thing that you cannot help it. Sometimes people are coughing in the auditorium. And you see that are they showing disgust to your performance, or it is like people is winter, that people are catch cold, or it is some disgust, or people are talking to each other, some resting for the audience. So every time the actor is negotiating with this changing audience. Sometimes 2 minutes of silence, nobody is responding. In a comedy play, there is no responding. Immediately you are thinking something is wrong. We are not communicating. So we start forcibly communicating that idea. So I think that this is the game. It's like football player. That you're not getting the ball right time, not passing it off right time, so you don't know how the ball will come to you. So you have to receive the ball right. So I think that this is the strength of theatre, that we explore every day, that every performance is different to other performance because of this. That's why the creative energy leaves through. It never is mechanical in that way. Because the audience is different. The content of the audience is very different. The moment to go take an urban play to a village situation, immediately changes context. Every day. So I think that moment the actor, mostly the actor has to define that moment, address that moment. Sometimes people clapping, then he was irritated, I cannot speak my next dialogue. So you are taking the pause, reduce the sound of the clap, then I speak my next dialogue. So this pause is not accounted. Director cannot say that, why are you taking this pause? And this pause is not allowed. But who is if they don't stop clapping? They will not hear the next dialogue. So, ये होता है. So every time this is going on. But of course, contemporary directors, I think that is what they do their own thing. They create their own piece of thing, but they don't force it on actors. They take agreement from the actors that agree with me. So I am taking through the process that you agree with me. So there is no disagreement there, that you are not thinking that I am only copying this man. So I think this is my own thing. So slowly that's the modern director's process, that you bring them to your methodology and your way of seeing the play. Finally, director vision of the play, how is interpreting the play. Of course that is. Finally that comes.
One very quick yes and no. So I've heard that some directors have this habit, so I just wanted to know if it is true. Do directors place prompters amongst the audience at critical junctures in the play to laugh, so that the entire audience picks it up?
I never knew about this.
Yeah, because, or is this a politically correct answer?
Okay, now I never done this, but somebody thought that I have done this, because when people are he has his man, but I don't think that these are techniques, which I don't know.
I think political rallies,
Yeah, political rallies there, yeah, of course. But yeah.
But you don't really support this kind of technique. I mean, this is too much.
Any kind of prompting is not supported. On stage or off stage.
One question. Have you ever sort of experimented with getting people from the audience to participate in the play spontaneously, so that it gets even more interesting, and it varies from every performance?
Not every performance, but I did a kind of performance where I engage people to enter into dialogue. But recently I saw a play, it's very interesting, which is by a German director. It came to Bombay also. No, Bombay didn't come. It's called The Enemy of the People, the Ibsen. Where the famous scene where the doctor, Dr. Stockman, he had this public speech in the play, which is there. Now they have created a very wonderful thing. This suddenly means this public speech of the doctor become a kind of a, they involve the entire audience. So they ask questions, so it's like amazingly the contact is seen, and it can go for like long time. So after a point they understand they have fixed time, 15 to 20 minutes we engage the audience. And people really participate in that. It becomes a public debate. That because there's a huge debate that the funds should be given for some water system or how the service tax would be used. There's a very famous debate in the play. But in my play, I would say that I have never engaged myself in that kind of discussion very directly. But I play a short play where I engage people in some dialogue with the audience. But that is also very, very short time. But this I saw really opened by a very new thing in my thing, that they really engage the audience. And they have mics in the auditorium, people go and ask questions, and they conduct it very well. And as because the German play, there's also a person who was translator. If there's any English questions, they don't understand as German actors. But I think that this is a technique of Augusto Boal from Brazil, very famous, who has this technique of engaging completely the theatre, the audience. The actual new technique to engage the audience. So finally, he calls spectators. Spectators who turns into actors. So it's not spectators, it's spectators.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was wonderful.